poll taken by National Geographic in preparation for their new series called Doomsday Preppers revealed that out of 1,040 people surveyed, 9 out of 10 expected some type of national disaster within the next quarter century. Out of those 9 or 10, 56% of those were not prepared. They expected, but they were not prepared. Do you prepare? Do you fill your gas tank when it reaches a quarter of a tank? Do you keep extra toilet paper in your bathroom for those special emergencies? So if you prepare, then you probably prepare because you've been caught without or you know someone who has. The thing about preparedness and survival is that you can't wait until you have an emergency before you prepare. Waiting and not being prepared could actually cost you your life. So today I'm going to talk to you about some things you need to prepare for short-term emergencies that could save your life. Take a journey with me. Suppose that you're on the road to visit your sister. She's got a brand new house and she lives 80 miles away up in the mountains. So you're off on your journey and you're on a gravel road by yourself. You have no cell phone coverage. You haven't seen a car or a house in probably an hour. Your engine light goes on. And the next thing you know, you're on the side of the road and you're broken down. So you raise your hood because that's what you do. And as you're raising your hood, you hear a crack of thunder in the distance. The wind picks up and a couple of icy cold raindrops hit the back of your neck and your windshield. You remember that the weatherman said that the temperature was going to drop, that we were going to be in the sub temps tonight, and that you needed to prepare for a hard freeze. You've got to make a decision. What are you going to do? Are you going to panic? Or are you going to stay calm? You've got about 15 minutes of daylight left, and the decision that you make right now may make the difference as to whether you have a really hard, cold night or whether this will be your last night. Alan Pretty, who is a survivalist instructor at Iowa State University, says that the first 6 hours will determine whether or not you will survive an emergency situation. There are some specific things that you need to know when you're getting ready to make this decision. And the first one is that you need to remember the rule of threes. You can survive 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter in a harsh environment, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. National Geographic adventure writer Lawrence Gonzalez says that there are 5 specific things that you need to have with you every single day to survive such an incident. These things are protection from the environment, which is shelter, water, fire, food, and signaling. These are the key things that you need to have. So today, I want to show you an emergency kit that can save your life. This is one that is homemade by my husband and myself, and it is made from things that you can get at your local stores. So we're going to start with the protection from the environment. This is your shelter items. In this bag, out of that bag, right there, came a tarp. We have some 550 paracord for string, so you can make yourself a shelter or a lean-to. I have a hooded poncho here that helps keep me dry, keeps me out of the snow and icy rain. I have a multi-tool, handy little item. It's pliers. It's got all kind of little screwdrivers and knives, and it's actually got a little saw in here that you can use. I also have another knife that's got what looks like a really fancy lanyard that my husband made for me, but it's actually another 12 feet of cord. That's very handy to have. Because it's winter where we live, I have a warm wool cap. In the summer, you might swap that out for a ball cap, and a set of leather gloves, which you need to protect your hands. You never know what you're going to be doing out there. So that takes care pretty much of your shelter items. Fire. What I have here is basic, simple fire. I am not someone who's going to be able to build a fire out of sticks. So what I have here is I have a little, this is simply a medicine bottle. It's got about 20 feet of duct tape wrapped around it because duct tape is the fixture for everything. On the inside of this is actually some cotton balls that have been soaked in Vaseline, petroleum jelly. And I also have a flint and striker. Basically, you just take a little bit of cotton, you put it out, and voila, you have a fire. At this point, you're going to build a fire with sticks and leaves and what have you. So that'll take care of your fire needs. Water. Important things to have for water. This is a handy little jar right here. You can boil water in this. You'll also be able to cook your food in this. You could put a stainless steel water bottle in this to clean your water. If you cannot find a source of water, but you should always have a water bottle in your survival pack, which I do. There is also a Micron filter right here that all you have to do is pop your straw out, put it in, and you can drink from any river or pond. Your water's clean. Also in the pack is some water purification tablets. This is a good thing to have in your pack. Okay, we need to talk about food items. Again, we have our handy dandy little pot. You can put water in there. You can take a little bit of this beef jerky that we have and put in it and make a little stew for yourself, so you can eat your beef jerky by itself. I have some energy bars here for just quick food, quick energy. I have a little bit of fishing equipment here. This is a little reel you put in a tree and you hook it, you set the reel, and the fish comes along and it catches and it just holds on to the fish until you get back. It's a pretty neat little thing. And some fishing line and lures and things like that. Also, if times get too hard, this is a freeze-dried pack. This one is beef stroganoff with noodles. You add 2 cups of water to this, zip it closed, and in 8 to 9 minutes, you have a meal. So you don't want to be without food. Yes, the sign does say up here that you can be 3 weeks without food, but that's absolute starvation and that's death, and I'm hungry after every meal. So, also, if you're on the run, if for some reason you have to move out and you don't have time to eat, 5-hour energy in a shot. Just handy little thing to have in your pack. So we have that. Signaling. Let's talk about signaling. The first thing I have in my little signaling stack here is a whistle. A whistle, sound of a whistle carries a lot farther than your voice. A whistle, you need this. I have a compass in the signaling pile only because you can build a little fire with your magnifying glass. You could signal with your compass. And also, I'm not one of those people that you could drop in the middle of nowhere and I know exactly where I am. If I know I need to head east, I want to have a compass to be able to do that. I have a flashlight in my signaling pile. It's also good for your shelter, but it's dual purpose. I like that. And I have light sticks. Light sticks obviously for light, but the other thing you can do with a light stick, this particular one has a little ring in the end of it. You can hook this up to about 4 feet of your paracord and make a circle in the air, and now you've got a great big bright yellow disc that you can signal from. Somebody from the sky or down the road, they could see you from a long way. I have a lot of other little convenience items that are not in the list, but I have a first aid kit for cuts. It's got some Band-Aids in it. There's even a sewing kit in it. I've got some gauze here. I've got tape, and I have a little bit of vet wrap here that I pulled out of my barn for my horses that I use. I've also got some antibiotic ointment, dual use. You can take this antibiotic ointment, put it on a little bit of this gauze, and have a fire. The same thing I just did with the cotton ball. Comfort items. You know, I have a roll of Campers toilet paper in my comfort items because, you know, why not just be comfortable? I also have some Repel in here. I have a little bit of insect relief. I have a little toothbrush with me because I just, you know, there's something about keeping your teeth clean. A little floss. You can add whatever you want for your comfort items. There's some sunscreen here, a little hand sanitizer that's also flammable, we should mention, and some travel wipes because it's just good to be clean. It's healthy to be clean if you're stranded somewhere. So these are just things that I have in my everyday survival pack. You know, Byron Kearns, who's a U.S. Air Force survivalist instructor, says that the most important thing about this survival pack is that you keep it with you. This pack could save your life in the scenario that I just described. It'll be hard, yes. Will you be afraid? Yes, you'll be afraid, but you will be alive. You know, if you have this pack with you, your friends may call you a prepper, and they may laugh at you for being a prepper, but the one thing they will not do, they will not be clipping your name out of an obituary talking about what a tragedy it was that you froze to death by yourself in the woods. So in closing, I'm going to leave you with the famous words of Adam Francis, the founder of Equipped to Endure. If you're not always prepared, you're never prepared. Anybody have any idea how long that was? Guess what it is.